A home explodes, killing 3 people.
We were just like, it was like a bomb just went off.
Right now at 6, the desperate search for people missing, and new video coming in showing the moment that home is incinerated.
The second day of school and 3 teens are already locked up. What they're accused of doing and the discovery inside one of their bedrooms.
Early voting for Lee and Collier County starts Saturday. What's on the ballot and where you'll have to vote because of an influx of people moving here.
I'm still in shock. I couldn't sleep last night because I thought I was drowning.
And new this hour, how a woman's morning drive ended like this.
Now, from Southwest Florida's most trusted news, this is Wink News This Morning.
Busy Thursday morning, but first we're taking a look at our weather, because if you have to be outside for an extended period of time, just be aware, especially if you have respiratory issues, our air quality is going to be a little bit worse today. Thanks for joining us. I'm Lindsay Sablon.
And I'm Corey Lazar. In fact, you can see it, that Saharan dust making the air very hazy. Let's get to Weather Authority meteorologist Casey Sherman. Casey, what does this impact for us when our air quality starts to diminish like this?
I mean, especially if you do have those respiratory issues. If you said asthma, those that feel it a little bit more. If you have allergies, even more seasonal allergies, you'll be feeling it again today. Our air quality is lowered from good to moderate across Southwest Florida as anticipated, thanks to all of that Saharan dust. You saw it thick in the air yesterday. It gave that kind of milky appearance to the sky. And again, today we're looking at the same kind of thing. So not the prettiest looking day. Here is that Saharan dust blanketing the entire Florida peninsula. This is set to stick around for today and tomorrow, but I do promise for those that are experiencing maybe some respiratory symptoms, allergy symptoms, we do have some improvements on the way for the weekend. Out the door though, right now, we currently have a dry start. Temperatures mid-upper 70s and lower 80s, another pretty mild start to kick off this Thursday, which is going to be a day featuring what will likely at least be record-tying, if not record-breaking heat. Hazy and hot, we climb quickly into the middle 90s, eventually a few thunderstorms by late today, but not going to be looking at much. Our rain chance is still fairly limited thanks to that Saharan dust. Elsewhere, look for high near 95 Cape Coral, 93 for Naples, 96 Lehigh Acres, Golden Gate, and out towards LaBelle and Port Charlotte for today. I'll take a look at the timing of your rain chances with your latest Future Track model and have an update on the tropics that's coming up.
Right now in North Fort Myers, there is a crash listed. It's listed as a hit-and-run crash with injuries. People are responding here. There's some roadblock. 5411 Bay Shore. So right now, we're taking a look near your Bay Shore exit in North Fort Myers, but we're focused in on the interstate. Let's go ahead and pull up our map so we can show you again where this crash is popping up. It is just to the east of the interstate. You're seeing some slowdowns there eastbound leading into the crash. But since there are some roadblocks working right now, what you may want to do, use 31. You can also maybe hop off on Palm Beach Boulevard, and then you may have to use one of the other bridges to get to North Fort Myers.
And more breaking traffic news now at 6. We're working to find out more details about a rollover crash. I want to show you the video here when our crews arrived on scene, and this is from an FDOT camera. This happened at the northbound ramp of I-75 in Estero, right near Bonita Beach Road and Corkscrew Road. You can see all of the emergency lights off in the distance here. Now, our crews saw ambulances heading to the scene, a lot of cars slamming on their brakes as they got closer to all of this. And then just after 3:30 this morning, the crash site was cleared. So it's good for your morning drive right now. We're going to learn more about how this happened.
We're expecting an update from investigators in Indiana in just hours. After this, take a look at this video. A home explodes, killing 3 people. That explosion, as you see, caught on camera from a nearby business. You see the flash and then smoke and debris just billow into the air. This happened in Evansville, Indiana yesterday, and I want to show you what that blast site looked right after. Take a look at this video. This is a home where that home was, and right next to it, one was completely split in half. So this damaged several homes in the area, and I want to show you what those homes look like. So this man, here's the outside of his house, and then when he comes in, you see the damage all through the windows. He says he was sitting on that couch here when that blast literally threw him from the couch, and there is damage all over his home. Several windows were knocked out from this explosion. 39 homes in total were damaged from this explosion, some completely destroyed.
And Taylor, this morning, we are also hearing from some of those family members who are having to deal with all of that as officials are trying to figure out what exactly caused this, and they're picking through the debris. Take a look at this aerial shot. It shows what families are waking up to. Looks like a tornado ripped through and tore apart everything in its path. Heartbroken neighbors are speaking out and hoping that their community will be okay. The primary election is less than 2 weeks away, and our growing population's changing how you vote. Early voting starts Saturday, and that's also the last day for you to request a mail-in ballot. Wink News reporter Tiffany Rizzo joins us live from Fort Myers. And Tiffany, have people already started mailing in those ballots?
Lindsay, I checked Lee County just before I went live right now, and they have already received more than 56,000 mail-in ballots.
Concerns over a proposed apartment complex in Fort Myers. Still ahead, why neighbors say the city is not ready for that new development.
Also still ahead, a very close call on a morning commute. How a woman escaped her sinking car right in the nick of time.
Wink, the Weather Authority.
First, with up-to-the-minute forecasts.
Giving you up-to-the-minute weather when every minute matters.
Wink News, the Weather Authority.
Wink Weather is sponsored by Inspired Closets. Join them September 14th for their grand opening celebration in Naples.
Good morning and welcome back. Some good news on this Thursday. The tropical wave we've been tracking throughout this week, currently in the central Atlantic, has seen that chance for developing into a tropical storm or tropical depression decrease yet again. If you've been paying attention, earlier this week it was at a 40% chance. It is now down to a 10% chance as of this morning. 70 forecasts mark kind of our last day of these isolated thunderstorms with hazy conditions before we start to see some improvements as we head into the upcoming weekend. Scattered thunderstorms returning for Saturday, Sunday. That should be the case for next week with those highs back down into the lower 90s.
Right now, breaking, we're taking a live look. You, in the distance there, can see some of those flashing lights. They're actually responding to what may be a vehicle fire. This does look like it's happening I-75. This at your 144 mile marker. This is right around Bay Shore. Again, we are going to keep a close eye on that. It does look like from the interstate, it's probably closer to mile marker 145. Again, we will keep a very close eye on this. Let's go ahead and pull up our map because North Fort Myers, or rather this, this incident right here. So what this is, 5411, this is just to the east of I-75, also on Bay Shore, guys. So we are seeing just some issues, again, popping up here. People are outside of their vehicles. It looks like 3 are involved. So we will keep a close eye on this. Palm Beach Boulevard, if you have the opportunity to hop off on 75 there and maybe take another way to North Fort Myers. This area, though, experiencing some issues.
A woman faces terrifying moments on her way to work. You have to take a look over here. Her car was fully submerged. Do you see? That's a tire in a sinkhole. And this is all after a water main break. She says she started water pooling on the road. You see that there. 3 cars in front of her made it through that pooling water, but that's when she felt the road start to cave in. This was Tuesday morning in New Jersey, and her car, as you see, sank so deep down, a crane was brought in to get it out. When her car was in that water, she knew she had to push herself to escape, and what she kept thinking about was her family.
Well, the first person infected with the swine flu has been reported to the CDC. The CDC just putting out this tweet yesterday. It happened in West Virginia. The CDC says the person was younger than 18 and participated in an agricultural fair and was around pigs. Now, they didn't have to go to the hospital for this. So far, there's been no person-to-person transmission either. The CDC says there are usually some cases of humans becoming infected with pig viruses each year. They're putting this alert out so people take some precautions as we head into the fair season in parts of the country.
Over the next 6 to 10 days, we have some changes across a good chunk of the country. While we've been dealing with the heat for most of July, August, at least the start of it, that above average heat for the central portions of the plains, portions of the Tennessee River Valley, and up through the upper Midwest, we're heading into a weekend that's actually going to be bringing some cooler than average conditions for those areas, thanks to a frontal boundary that's going to be sinking southward. Now, of course, we keep with the above average conditions because that front will not be passing through our area. Out the door right now, though, our Sanibel Causeway Skycam. Notice there's the haze. You can already see it across the sky, lit up by just a bit of moonlight. We're heading into another very hazy day ahead. And speaking of moonlight, our August supermoon, it's tonight. It peaks at 9:35. It's often referred to as the sturgeon moon, and it's actually going to be the 4th and final supermoon of the year. So try to head out and check that out. It should be bigger and brighter than normal. Of course, the Saharan dust, though, may be limiting and kind of dimming its brightness, but the dust and the haze also likely making for kind of a cool and eerie look to the moon tonight, so make sure to head out and check that out. We actually should be a little bit drier again as far as our rain chances go today. Upper 70s and lower 80s out the door. Another very mild start to today. 77 right now in Naples. We're currently off to another dry start.
Breaking right now on the Midpoint Bridge eastbound. Heavy congestion after a crash, so you might be able to see some of those flashing lights. We've got one popping up here, one another. It looks like we're having just a slight technical difficulty with our camera here. What we want to tell you at this point in the morning, go ahead and use the Cape Coral Bridge. This is going to back up fast. Let's go ahead and pull to our other camera view. This happening in North Fort Myers, 5411 Bayshore Road. This is listed as a hit and run crash. It is just outside of your 75 ramp. It does look like people are responding in the area. Also listed nearby, near mile marker 145 on 75, a vehicle fire. Let's go ahead and pull up our map so we can show you where these incidents are popping up again. Right now, the slowdown is small in Cape Coral, but eastbound, again, this is going to be a huge problem for your morning drive. Use the Cape Coral Bridge right now instead. We'll also pull to North Fort Myers, the last scene we showed you. Again, this was the live picture. It's an incident because, again, listed as a hit and run crash and both a vehicle fire. Then we've got this crash, Bayshore Road near Village Lane.
All right, Belinda, thank you. Well, hundreds of first responders rushed to this scene of a massive fire. Look at all of the smoke and the flames here at this warehouse. Coming up, we'll show you exactly where this is and how many people were impacted by this.
Plus, a scary pitch seen around the world. What these two boys said to each other on the mound after a ball hit a batter.
Wink Doppler 3X.
We built it. We launched it. But what does it mean for you? Matt, sounds kind of complicated and technical.
Lois, just think of 3 features. Wink's Live Doppler 3X updates its information faster, which means you are more informed sooner than anyone, and it's able to see farther, higher, and lower to really pinpoint weather more accurately.
We talk about 1 million watts of power. Why does that matter?
To power the average home, it takes about 5,000 watts of power. Wink's Live Doppler 3X has the power to see storms as far as Cuba, and that precision can even detect flying debris as small as a nail during tornadoes.
So the bottom line is viewer safety.
That's right, Lois. You can think of Wink's Live Doppler 3X as your first line of defense, keeping you safe and able to plan ahead when every minute matters.
Wink Doppler 3X, 3 times more powerful.
Well, breaking now, we just learned the Red Cross is helping one person impacted by a fire at their home. We're working to get more information on this fire, but we know it happened here on Holly Avenue, and on Google Maps, you can see it's just south of the Naples Botanical Garden. To give you an idea of where this is, kind of in a rural area here of Naples and Collier County. As soon as we get more details from the fire department on what happened here, we'll be sure to let you know.
Breaking right now, a big backup eastbound on the Midpoint Bridge. You see these flashing lights here? Well, that's a mixture of tail lights and crews responding to a crash. Again, we will work you right around this for your morning drive.
You may see more officers using this device, monitoring your speed as you pass by a school zone. Coming up, what it can cost you and when you should slow down.
This is breaking news from Wink News.
Breaking at the top at 6:30, Cape Coral commuters, if you typically take the Midpoint Bridge, you need to listen up. We have a major crash there. Thanks for joining us. I'm Lindsay Sublime.
And I'm Corey Lazar. This really firing up here in the past couple minutes. Let's get right to traffic anchor Belinda Post. Belinda, this is a nightmare if you're heading into Fort Myers right now.
Absolutely, you need to take the Cape Coral Bridge eastbound. But Lindsay and Corey, one thing I want to point out, I've got the flashing lights of a school bus there that just went through this heavy congestion. That's why we're offering you that alternate route, because you don't want to get caught in this. In fact, traffic is backed up on Veterans to the Midpoint Bridge, probably until about Country Club to that point. That's roughly 2 miles. You do not want to be caught in this because you're going to be in a sea of taillights. You're getting by in just one lane as they're working to clear this crash. You see those flashing lights, people out there again responding. Now let's pull up our other camera view. This in North Fort Myers. I want to tell you, this is Bayshore just off of I-75. That would be the northbound ramp if you're leaving in the other lane. But we know that people are responding in this area. You see those flashing lights. They are trying to get whatever's happening on Bayshore cleared here. It was listed as a hit-and-run crash. Let's go ahead and pull up our map so we can tell you one other thing. 75 north at mile marker roughly 143. Again, near this area, but on the interstate, this is listed as a vehicle fire. You got to proceed with caution along with this crash, Bayshore Road at Village Lane.
Record-tying heat on tap for today. We climbed to 95 degrees, and we should be tying our previous record set back, at least hit back in 2016. We have seen this tie at least several times of 95 degrees, and we should be running a few degrees above average for Fort Myers. Punta Gorda, Naples, you're not quite in your record territory, but still all areas running above average today. 94 for your high, Punta Gorda with 98 as your record. 93 for Naples with 96 as your record for today. Hot and hazy. That'll be the name of the game today and tomorrow. Yes, this plume of Saharan dust, very noticeable yesterday. It kind of created for that milky white appearance to the sky. Sticks around through today and at least through tomorrow, but we should start to see some improvements by the weekend. Out the door, we're currently off to a dry start as we take a look at radar. Showers and thunderstorms offshore areas like Tampa Bay. They're not heading here, though. We keep it dry for the morning commute. That should be the case through lunchtime as we climb into the upper 80s. From there, we continue to warm through 2, 3, 4 p.m. That chance for some isolated showers and storms today, really not until after 5 p.m. onward into the early evening hours. In the meantime, hot, hazy, 97 for Arcadia and Immokalee, 93 for Naples today. I'll show you what kind of changes we're looking at heading into the weekend with our weather pattern, and also have that bus stop forecast coming up.
All right, Casey, thank you. And as you head out on the road this morning, watch your speed. Those school zones are back in place, and the fines, if you're caught, really can be steep. One school zone is right outside Gateway High School, right here along Griffin Drive off State Road 82. And that's where we find Week News reporter Asha Patel live for us this morning. And Asha, you have the radar gun with you. Have you caught any speeders yet, or is everyone pretty much obeying the rules of the road?
Just moments ago, I saw a truck speed down this road. I pulled out my radar gun, and it showed that he was going 46 miles per hour. Typically, speed zones and school zones are 15 to 20 miles per hour, so that's considered speeding.
Deputies shoot and kill a man who police say pointed a semi-automatic rifle at them. The girlfriend of an off-duty TSA officer called 911 in Key Largo. Here's a look at the scene, saying her boyfriend was drunk and suicidal. When deputies arrived, the drunk man came out of the balcony armed. He dropped the gun when they told him to go inside, but it turns out he was not backing down.
2 minutes later, he came back out the sliding glass door onto the porch with an AR-15, pointed at the officers, which time the officers had no other choice but to engage him. 4 of my officers, detectives and deputies, discharged their firearms at him, striking him. As soon as he was hit and down, officers entered the house, cleared the residence, provided immediate medical attention, put tourniquets on him, called for fire rescue. He was determined to be deceased.
The man shot dead is 48-year-old Lane Cavanis, a TSA federal flight deck officer. That's a pilot or crew member who's been deputized to fight crime on board.
All right, Taylor, we're having some issues with Taylor's microphone. A man is accused of shooting a police officer in the face, and that man is in custody after an hours-long standoff. And you're looking at the video the moment the suspect surrendered to police. And our producers were keeping an eye on this scene for us overnight in California. It all started with a fight between 2 brothers, one armed with a gun. And when police showed up, he fired at officers. 2 people were also hit by gunfire. No word this morning on how any of them are doing.
For everyone. Well, back to that breaking news. If you're just joining us this morning and take the Midpoint Bridge into Fort Myers, you want to avoid it. Here's a live look from our cameras showing you it is down to 1 lane, creating a bottleneck there. Please find an alternate route.
And a need for speed. After the break, an 86-year-old's lifelong dream comes true.
Wink Weather is sponsored by Physicians Primary Care of Southwest Florida. Let our family take care of your family.
Breaking right now, eastbound on the Midpoint Bridge, inch by inch, we should say. It is a sea of red right now after a crash. They are working to get this clear. You can see the flashing lights there in the distance. At this point, that's where you're actually being rerouted around in a single lane. Now, what I want to tell you is the backup on Veterans Memorial before the Midpoint Bridge, it is spanning roughly 2 miles, starting roughly around Country Club. Instead of using this way and hitting all of this slow traffic, just use the Cape Coral Bridge if you're heading to Fort Myers. Now let's go ahead and turn to our other crash. This one important for our North Fort Myers drivers. You see these flashing lights listed on Bay Shore. This is right outside of your 75 ramp. So again, there was a hit and run crash listed in this area earlier. There's also a vehicle fire listed 75 north near mile marker 143 or 145 in this same area. You need to proceed with caution.
And a look at our Wink School spotlight for today. We've got Gulfview Middle School in Collier County. School bus forecast pretty similar to yesterday. Dry to start. Many of us, no umbrella needed for today. We should see a few showers and storms, but it really won't be until the later portion of today. We're talking about 6 p.m. onward. Bus stop, we're giving it a B because it's just going to be mild and also muggy and, yes, hazy. You'll see that especially once the sun rises. Hot and hazy for the ride home. We're also giving it a B just because we've got near record heat today. In fact, we should be tying a record in Fort Myers, and we have that haze back with us thanks to the Saharan dust. 70 forecast, more isolated storms through your Friday. Another day of hazy conditions tomorrow. Improvements finally for the weekend, and with that, some higher chances for rain.
Southwest Florida, let's take a look at your pump patrol. Your gas price average, it is coming in at $3.73. That info coming from our friends at AAA. We have done the work to find the best price in each area. In Charlotte County, that's at Murdoch Circle and South Tamiami Trail. It's at Murphy Express. It is $3.53. Now let's turn an eye to Cape Coral. Walmart, you are $3.69. This is Northeast Pine Island Road and Hibiscus Drive. Then in the Fort Myers area, the mobile station, it is $3.56. You'll find it Gladiolus Drive and San Carlo Boulevard. Now let's turn an eye out east in Lehigh. The best price we can find, $3.43 actually in our entire area. This is the mobile station listed Leland Heights Boulevard and Homestead Road. Then we'll turn an eye just down south in Collier County. The Flash Car Wash and Convenience Store, it's $3.59. This is off of East Tamiami Trail.
All right, breaking right now. Fire investigators are working to figure out what sparked a fire to 2 cars. Take a look at this. Lehigh Acres Fire and Rescue District just tweeted out this video, and you can see the car here in the driveway just completely engulfed in flames as firefighters work to put this out. There was another car that caught on fire too. We know this happened around 5 o'clock this morning on 17th Street West. That's just off of Sunshine Boulevard in Lehigh Acres. Belinda was actually giving drivers a heads up about this in our earlier newscast. The cars were in the driveway of the home, and they are completely destroyed, as you can see at the end of that video there. Luckily, no one was hurt.
And if you're about to head out and walk the dog right now, partly cloudy with the sun coming up, I'm sure again you will notice the hazy sky that is back with us today. We'll continue with the haze, a milky look to the sky with Saharan dust in place still through lunchtime. Showers and thunderstorms will be pretty isolated as we head towards about 5 p.m., but we should see a few of them. Most of us, though, really won't have anything to worry about until after about 6 o'clock. This evening. Our dog of the day here is Banjo. I love how he's kind of hopped up on the couch here. He is ready to take on the day and probably ready for the weekend too. Thank you, Chris Berger, for sending that one in. Very cute dog too, may I add. Out the door right now, Village on Venetian Bay and Naples. You can see that kind of hazy appearance with a few kind of light pinks and also purples, kind of a dull sunrise for us. Same thing as you look outside the Mucky Duck and Captiva. Hazy looking sky there, where temperatures are currently running at 84 degrees. Winds out of the east right now, that offshore pattern giving us another nice dry start to the day. Showers and storms way off to the north and west of us. We really don't have anything to worry about for today's morning commute.
Breaking right now, several issues to get to. Eastbound over the Midpoint Bridge, your drive moving slow. It is sort of like this slow-moving sea of taillights. You're seeing a lot of red here. Again, you are backed up 2 miles on Veterans Memorial. At this point, I would not use the Midpoint Bridge. I would use the Cape Coral Bridge. That's going to be a better bet. They are working to get this cleaned up, but where the actual accident was, this hugging the inside median lane, you're getting by in just 1 lane. Let's pull up our other camera so we can tell you a couple things going on for our North Fort Myers drivers. Again, our biggest backup, it is westbound on Bay Shore right before I-75. So we do see people responding. This vehicle has been here probably about half an hour, 45 minutes. There's also a vehicle fire listed nearby, the 75 north between mile markers 143 and 45. You need to proceed with caution in this area.
A neighborhood rocked by an explosion.
Coming up just ahead in your morning rush, the very latest on this investigation after more than a dozen homes are left unlivable after this explosion.
CBS Mornings is locally sponsored by Goldstein, Buckley, Seckman, Rice & Pertz, personal injury attorneys, celebrating 60 years of fighting for justice.
First in your morning rush at 9 o'clock in just a couple hours, we will get an update from investigators after a deadly explosion in Indiana. Here's video from when it happened yesterday. You see the big plume of smoke and debris everywhere. This was in Evansville, and 3 people were killed. And here's a look at the aftermath. One home completely destroyed, others as well. 39 in total. Damage, just absolute devastation and destruction here on the street. The names of the victims have not yet been released.
A Naples man is facing criminal charges after he's accused of stealing money from the elderly. Collier County deputies say Gabor Fazekas posed as a contractor and promised clients work, but then never showed up once he was paid. Detectives say he got away with more than $90,000. He did turn himself in on a warrant from the sheriff's office.
Well, school is supposed to be a safe place, but the Collier County Sheriff's Office says a former teacher preyed on students at Pinecrest Elementary in Immokalee. Diego Rojas Pulido will be in court today. He's accused of hiding a camera in one of the restrooms inside the school, and the students were scared to go back to school after this discovery. The district fired Rojas Pulido.
This Cape Coral man will spend 12 years behind bars for sexually abusing a child. Investigators started looking into 20-year-old Ethan Sewell when a child reported past abuse to the family. Sewell is also going to serve 15 years of sex offender probation for a second count of lewd and lascivious molestation. He will also be a designated sexual predator.
If you plan to vote in the upcoming election, you have until this weekend to request a mail-in ballot. Saturday is the deadline, and then early voting begins that same day. Weekend News reporter Tiffany Rizzo is live in Fort Myers this morning. So, Tiffany, why is it important that everyone double-check where they're supposed to vote?
There are way more early voting sites in our area this year, so it's likely you'll be casting your ballot in a location you're not used to. As the population in Southwest Florida grows, officials are adding new polling locations to be able to handle the volume. And if you're voting by mail, they ask you to return your ballot to them as soon as possible. That way, they have enough time for it to process before the official primary election day, which is August 23rd. Now, early voting begins Saturday in Collier and Lee County, and the last day that you'll be able to request a vote by mail ballot. Back to you.
Waking up to another hazy sunrise across the area of Mount Lachey, Punta Gorda, Fort Myers, and Naples, Pierce. Saharan dust still blanketing our area with temperatures mild in the mid-upper 70s and lower 80s out the door. We're heading into another drier than average day. Notice by late today, we're talking about by this evening around dinner time, some isolated areas with showers and thunderstorms. But before that, hot and hazy with highs back in the middle and upper 90s.
Breaking one by one, eastbound on the Midpoint Bridge. That's how your morning drive is looking after a crash is severely slowing traffic down. Veterans Memorial, you're backed up for 2 miles. Go ahead and take the Cape Coral Parkway.
And make the switch over to CW. We're going to have more on this crash. This is causing a nightmare for Cape Coral commuters this morning.
Yeah, especially as we head into the 7 o'clock hour. That's when a lot of people from Cape Coral head into Fort Myers. Live breaking coverage next at 7 on the CW.
Welcome to CBS Mornings on this Thursday morning. I'm Gail King.
I'm Tony DeCopel. Dominic Burleson.
We're all here. Let's go to today's eye-opener. It's your world in 90 seconds.